You are listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, Episode 23, Freak Force 9 and 10.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the Dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast Retro, the show that's been invaded by sexy cyborgs. I'm Raven Perez.
I'm Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And you're listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, where we take a look back at the Eric Larson-related projects, Savage Dragon issues, Freak Force, that kind of stuff of the issues of the past. Some would say that they're 30 years ago. And we're going to discuss with you. We got a barn burner of a FinCast today. We got two, certainly you could call them comics.
Yep,
Freak Force.
You can definitely say that, yes.
You could definitely say there's staples in the middle of this pamphlet. It's Freak Force 9 and 10. Woo! What a buffet. What a dog turd buffet.
Oh, boy. Coming out strong, Mr. Perez.
Yeah, you know all that like positivity I was talking about, where it's like, oh, it's getting a little better, oh, it's growing on me. Yeah, Freak Force number 9, I guess, concludes the Alien Ant story arc.
Emphasis. Saga.
Yeah.
Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah, and not good. Didn't click with me. Didn't click with me at all.
These Cyberforce guys are kind of lame.
Yeah, they don't get any moments, do they?
No, they don't.
I have a feeling that Eric doesn't really like them either. This is the only time they ever show up in a Savage Dragon property.
It's just, I am super not familiar with Cyberforce at all. And of these characters, I don't recognize two of them. Like, I don't even know who this big guy is. Or the weird yellow guy.
You mean Not Maul?
Yeah, Not Maul. You know, Team Big Man.
Yeah. So you got Not Maul, you got Not Psylocke, Stryker.
Not Wolverine.
Yeah, not. Now here's the thing.
Not Cable with 3 arms.
Oh yeah, he's Cable.
I will say Stryker, Velocity, and Ripclaw to me are memorable at least. Right. Even if Ripclaw is just a goddamn Wolverine ripoff from hell, he's memorable because he's a Wolverine ripoff. But the other three,
Velocity's got a good design, costume design. She's got something to her.
She's iconic with her white skin and her green lightning bolt. Like, it's cool.
She also doesn't have like really overt like tech stuff all over her, which makes her like, I guess, normal looking.
Yeah. Well, she's a standout from the rest of them. Plus, like, the thing is like, lightning bolts tie into a speedster theme real well.
Yes.
And so you can tell by looking at her kind of like who she is and what she does.
Right. Velocity's a good name.
Yeah. So, like, she's strong as hell.
Stryker, on the other hand, is really generic to the point where I keep thinking his name's Forearm, which is a different guy.
I will go to bat for him only to say that I have always liked the asymmetrical arms. I think it's a bold choice when 4 arms just works so much better. But to have
they do even joke about it in this book. If you guys like that,
dude, how does he not fall over?
Right.
Who's the guy that looks like Gambit? Kind
of? What the heck? Who is he?
I mean, he's lame. Like
he's like the reasonable lame one.
I've never known his name. He doesn't have any standout ability.
Team Cyclops.
Yeah. Not Cyclops, Gambit, not Psylocke, and not Maul. Those 3 dudes, if they died in a fire forever, Cyberforce would not be impacted at all. At all.
I gotta say though, I mean, I do like the cover of this issue, the kind of that classic "stand aside, we're here."
Yep.
Too bad.
Guys look cool on the cover.
Too bad about the logo placement though. I really don't care for it.
What, having the 2 logos like next to each other?
Yeah, I don't know. This being off center the way it is, the way having Cyberforce so much smaller, like, I don't know. I just don't think it works.
It doesn't look like they're invading Freak Force, does it?
No.
I don't know.
I will say missed opportunities. You know,
Ricochet has a big yellow dong on the cover.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad you said that. I was not going to say that, and you fucking said it. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tangent from hell.
That is very tangent-y.
God bless you, Craig. I was like, no, I'll be classy. And you said it, dude.
She's not snipped either.
Banana cock. Yeah, it's a terrible tangent. It's a terrible tangent, dude.
Something else about this cover. What was? Oh, right. You get the sense that the only reason Cyberforce is here is that they're also called a Force, but you never get any there's no nothing, no bell hung on it about they're both being Cyberforce, Freak Force, Force.
Especially when Super Patriot,
is also connected. You're right.
Cyber data.
Exactly.
So it's like they've got a great reason to have a connection right there.
Yeah. And it does get brought up. It does get his escape from cyber data is brought up, but it doesn't go. There's no payoff. There's no reason.
There's no solid moment.
I do like that and miss that because they tie in Youngblood, Cyber Force, and Freak Force all together.
Yeah.
In that panel, which was kind of fun back in the day.
You never get any payoff for Vanguard's new look. It's never explained.
Because it's atrocious.
I think it's not drawn well. I don't think there's a reason for it.
I just hate when we go from issue 14 where you get massive, muscular, semi-handsome Vanguard to just hideous, skinny Vanguard. I don't understand. I feel like if it was a comic nowadays, Eric would take the artist aside and be like, look, you got to put him more on model.
Well,
it seems like you...
Let me provide an explanation, or at least a possible explanation. Okay. He may have used, for reference, the first, 0 issue.
Yeah.
Where he looked like this.
It's inexcusable.
At this point, though, Vanguard's look has been established.
Plus, you're working with Eric.
Yeah.
It's not like he's on his own doing his own thing. You're working with Eric on this.
To say something positive, though, he does have very good Superman hair.
Yeah.
Vic draws good hair, and he draws and that's the kind of hair that Vanguard should have.
Right.
Because he's kind of a alien Superman. That's like his whole gimmick.
No, yeah, he is. That is his gimmick.
Ugly Superman. Yeah, the girls are on the ship. They're covered in welts. Oh. I mean, it's just heinous. I do think Rapture grabbing Hortus by the tail is a hilarious visual and good. That's really funny. But just Hortus turning bad dog and attacking them, it does nothing for me. First
rule of Hortus: do not draw her front on.
And bro, Vic is not afraid to go there.
Mm-hmm. This is the second or third time we've seen this.
Yep. Yeah.
With her lipsticked face.
Giant cartoon lips. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I get that she's flipping out and attacking them as a dog would, but it's just the action isn't sold.
Yeah, it's like for some reason she's effective against them, but it's never really explained why. I imagine it's because she's armored.
Well, the only reason they explain it why, but the only reason why is because it's the egg is in danger, and that's the only reason.
Yeah.
They build it up like she is really good at fighting them, and then they're like, oh no, actually it was just because the egg was in danger. And it's like, oh well, you missed a chance for, again, she's an alien. She's got alien origins.
Right.
You missed a chance to be oh, maybe they're afraid of that species or something cool. Nah, yeah. Just that the egg was in danger.
They were just distracted.
And the ants become these weird like party, like the inflatable guys outside of like a car dealership.
Like,
yes.
I was going to say
wavy,
the
wacky,
lamest things.
It is.
wacky, waving tube men.
Like you could have had, like, all right, listen, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go there. I'm going to be shitty. It's like you could have had these ants that are like super adaptoids. It's like super adaptoid organisms or whatever. They could have become like giant mutated bears or giant mutated orangutans or anything.
Right.
If it's going to be a plant monster, it could have been like big Little Shop in horrors, like with teeth, like a Venus flytrap.
And they
just
kind of go
tubes.
there towards the end where they just become a million mighty men. But again, we just saw like doppelganger type villains in Freak Force not too long ago. So why are we going back to that well again?
Yeah.
You know what wasn't clear to me immediately? That the Mighty Men version were tiny.
I was gonna say that exactly.
Yep.
That splash page. I was like, oh, where did they go? And it's like, oh, they're just super tiny.
Yep. When they're tiny and they're flying in front of Vanguard and Mighty Man's face, I was like, huh, they're tiny. I did not literally realize that until right at that moment.
There's a whole lot of stuff I just started yawning through on this. Like this, I had no interest in the spaceship fight with the Swarm.
Nope,
No.
it's not
Swarm
good.
Sucks.
Nope.
She defies physics and jumps up while the Swarm falls out of the ship or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
A Swarm that can fly, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe they can't fly. I don't know. I guess they can't fly. I can't tell what's going on. Are they flying? Are they just crawling?
I will say the way they're dealt with at the end is clever, but it is sort of convenient that they took on the Mighty Man form in order it as their last form. I mean, it kind of makes sense that they go for the strongest character, and Mighty Man is the strongest.
Right.
So
But then it makes no sense because she changes and they all change. Like they're just copies.
Right. But I think they also had they're adaptable, so they have the same properties. So if Mighty Man can survive in space, then their doppelgangers can survive in space. By switching back to Anne, they no longer can survive in space. At least that's the logic.
Yeah, I'm just
that's
not
the
clear
logic.
why they all switch back because Mighty Man does.
I think
Well, the
because
throwaway line-
he was actively being scanned the whole time.
Well, the throwaway line is, and here's the problem. This is the problem. That's why it doesn't work. The throwaway line is, I know they're pretty anal about their transformations. And it's like, are they? Like, have we really seen that? Like, has that really been conveyed over the course of this arc? Like, not really. Like, not until it's convenient for this moment.
I will say that it's a clever way to kind of get rid of them, but it just, I don't know. It's just not good.
I'm going to say one nice thing. I'm going to say, well, two nice things. I do think that Vic tried harder on Super Patriot's arms. And
Yeah.
I think he tried harder on his arms because of this kick-ass Dave Johnson pinup.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Pretty good pinup by Dave Johnson.
Corey Walker does an homage to this pinup as a variant, I believe. Maybe it's not a variant, but it's on one of the Super Patriot miniseries.
It's just,
What I can't really tell what he's fighting. I think that's the point. They're like just mechanical monstrosities.
Well, the best way, for you to look at it is just to turn it, obviously. Like,
Oh, okay. Oh, what the
and
fuck?
he's falling
Now
down.
it makes sense. Wow, amazing.
he's falling and they're coming down on him.
Yeah. Now I can see their zombies because you can see their like skeleton faces and their, their
the skeleton teeth or whatever.
Okay, that's freaking weird how that doesn't read as well when you're looking at it from sideways.
The signature threw you off.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's a cool poster.
I like it. And like I said, so that's my positive thing. And I also think
Notice there's a cat in it too.
a cat in the pinup?
Yeah, if you look at his machine gun blast and just look to the right of that and up a little bit.
Up into the... Oh, there's a cat. Yeah.
Oh, there's Mr. Peabody. And Slave One from Star Wars.
Oh, yep, that's Mr.
Just
Peabody.
just under the cat.
There are a lot of little things in this, aren't there?
I see Bob's Big Boys, like on the backpack of that one guy, where his strap says like me, 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 me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely had some fun on this one.
Oh yeah, the Fred Flintstone
And there's a
hat. It
kitchen
says,
sink all the way to the left.
where kitchen sink? Where is it?
All the way to the left.
Oh, there's a vibrator. Just under the handcuffs. Naughty Dave Johnson.
Hilarious.
It says, "Oh, there is a kitchen sink." It's crazy how you don't even perceive that as a kitchen sink.
Yeah, it's the way that it's colored. Everything sort of blends.
Yeah.
There's also like a doll that says "a girl."
Yeah, what is that?
Argyle? A girl? I don't know. Maybe it must be a 90s reference of some kind.
I think it says a lot that the glowingest praise we have for anything in this issue
It's his pinup.
is this pinup.
I don't know. Anytime you see a Dave Johnson pinup, though, it's
Stop and take notice.
yeah, exactly.
And I am going to beat up. So you remember in the previous FinCast Retro where I was talking about Mighty Man's cape completely hiding his face?
Yep.
On the splash where the Mighty Man swarm is like cruising in on them, it's like, dude, look at all those like hidden faces.
Makes it easy.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it.
You don't like the high collar?
I don't like hiding his face.
Oh.
It's weird.
Yeah, he's got no peripheral vision.
So this was a dud for me, and very, very few good things. I think Barbaric's face when he's asking for beer is funny.
Yeah, that last page where Barbaric is in Brazil is pretty funny. But then,
So that works.
Barbaric pages are generally pretty funny.
I mean, that works for me. And I did, in fact, like the Dave Johnson pinup, and I liked the joke about Stryker toppling over. But to me, and I actually thought, with you dudes, I'm agreeing that the using Anne to get rid of the ants was kind of clever, but it's like for the most part, like just this whole like thing, I was just like,
Yeah.
oof.
It's kind of clever, but if you think too hard about it, it's really stupid.
Yeah. It's like, do the ants have zero survival? Because I thought their whole thing was they were super adaptoids.
It's
So
just
it's
not
like,
an interesting villain at all. I don't care. It's like, this is
Yep.
dumb. I don't care. It's such a weird, I don't know, nameless villain that's really doesn't do much.
yeah.
And again, we had just had like doppelganger villain type things going on. Why are we going back to that well?
And think about, too, the build-up. This was given, like, 3 issues of build-up and just did not, to me, pay off at all. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of deep-sixed myself a little bit because I had high expectations because there was the build-up and because it had been getting better, like, in my opinion, and then just totally whiffed. Totally whiffed, man.
So... question for you guys: does Ripclaw's fingers ever are they like liquid metal where he has regular hands, or are they always just blades?
Liquid metal, yeah.
Okay.
He can shape them. He never does anything like make like.
I've never seen him with regular hands. That's why.
I've seen them small, but they still come out into points, almost like like vampire hands.
Are you sure you're not mixing that up with the Wildcats guy?
Oh, I don't know.
I think you are.
They're so samey.
Was it? Wait, which one's Cyblade? No, Cyblade is. There's too many.
Neither.
Yeah, there's Ripclaw. I don't even know
Ripclaw's the cyber force guy.
You know what? It literally doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I don't think I've ever seen Ripclaw with regular hands.
I think we've had this conversation before when we covered Wildcats. And
I'm sure. It's a weird choice.
It's shitty because he's a Wolverine clone. That's all.
This is what happens
That
when
can't hold anything.
This is what happens when your 2 hottest artists come off of the same title to do their own thing.
I'll tell you what.
Sylvester-
Enjoy this refreshing wax cup full of soda. Oops.
What?
What are you
Just saying, like a wax paper cup or anything he tries to hold, his hands just blow right through it.
Yeah.
Or like my thing was if he picks his nose or wipes his ass, he's in real danger.
Yeah, he gets a little horny. Danger.
I imagine his cock is like that too, liquid metal.
He's just got scratches all over his body. holds on to a stair rail, just destroys it. Tries to open a fridge, just cuts the handle right off.
When he sleeps, he has to have special gloves. So he
Leans up against a tree and just slices it.
Oh, yeah. What a dog shit issue. This was just not good. I was very dissatisfied.
Dang. Man, this is probably the harshest we've been in a Savage Dragon Adjacent issue in a long time.
It's okay.
It's
Once in a while.
Like I said, the thing is that, like, look, I was starting to feel it. Like, so I was starting to feel it. I was, like, Vic's art was getting better, and I was starting to, like, click with what they were doing. There were cool characters and, like, a lot of build-up and stuff that I like. And then just, man, this goddamn ant thing did not go anywhere. This space ant thing just didn't go anywhere. You didn't...
the Matrix egg. Who cares?
Yeah. It's like, also, have moments. Like, if you've got Cyberforce in there, give them moments. Give them things. Give them dialogue where they say funny things or, like, mock each other more fiercely. Like, the one mockery was good.
It's so weird because we just had Wildcats 14 where he does all of this.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was great. That's a perfect... Thank you. That's the perfect thing where that issue shines in every way that this issue does not. And that's why it's hard for me to be like, well, it was pretty good. It's not good. It missed every opportunity, almost.
Now, to be fair, this was story told by Giffen and only scripted by Eric. So those decisions were not his, presumably, initially. Whereas Wildcats, of course, was done entirely by Eric. So
right. Yeah, I'm not shitting on any single individual. This book is a product of a team, and the team didn't deliver. Yeah. Vic didn't deliver the visuals. Giffen didn't deliver the moments, and Eric didn't really deliver the dialogue. I mean, for what it is, like, there's funny moments. Like when he's asking for a beer in Brazil is funny. Making fun of Stryker is funny. Like, if anything, the dialogue's some of the funniest, like, best bits. But it's like... Just space ants. Like, nobody was there to be like, nah, Keith. There's got to be like a leader of the space ants. Like, there needs to be a cool visual.
Yeah,
that's the thing about
alien overlord.
Yes.
Yeah,
a queen. A queen.
I think this is the complaint I had about the Demonoids not having any kind of leader to really.
And then he kind of fixed that with the Demon King.
Yes, he did eventually create the Demon King,
and that was a cool issue.
Yeah,
when there was like a focused villain that. Had some kind of personality
that can speak for the collective to give it some gravitas. What if they copied Mighty Man and that gave them the power of speech, and then they could have a dialogue,
right?
Or like it could have been a great moment where like they copy Mighty Man, and then like he does talk, but it's just like really disturbing, where he's like, "All will be one," or something fucked up like that. Like he can't talk good.
The ridiculous thing was you had Cyberforce there, and they spend the whole issue fighting giant fucking plants. And then when they are fighting the ants, they're just like gray swarms of blob.
When you need to do yard work done, Cyberforce definitely is the one to call.
Ripclaw service.
Roto-Rooter.
Just cutting your grass with his hands.
All right, yeah. I think we've dumped on Cyberforce enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. One last dump. Even Super Patriot is like, bro, we got to get your fucking like helmet fixed. Like your speech pattern sucks.
Vanguard's talking like that the entire issue
obnoxious.
Was so distracting.
It sucked.
It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. It didn't add anything to it, and even Even Super Rager's like, bro, like, just fucking please, God.
It's like they did it because they didn't want Vanguard to be able to explain the problem easily.
Right.
Like, it was supposed to create, like, a language barrier so that Vanguard couldn't just tell them how to solve the problem. But, like, it doesn't do that. It just isn't very good.
The only thing of notes that I saw in the letters columns is, of course, we get another birth announcement for Joe. Or not Joe, Christopher. So it's almost the exact same thing, except he makes a pretty funny joke about the kid not having a fin. And he talks about getting used to diaper changing. So, again, just kind of funny. It's also funny to see Eric mention Ranma in reference to Mighty Man.
Ranma 1/2, yeah.
Yeah. Which, for the listeners who might not know, Ranma's whole gimmick, it's a Japanese manga, very old, where the gimmick is the main character switches genders with, like, hot water. And so very relevant to Mighty Man. It's funny to even see it brought up, like, or to see Eric talk about it. And then the last thing that really kind of caught my eye, where was it?
It's funny, though, because Mighty Man is kind of the opposite concept, where you have a woman character who turns into a man, whereas Ranma is a man who turns into a woman.
Right. The only other thing that caught my eye was Eric naming Barbaric. You know, somebody asked him like what I guess Barbaric's name is, where he's like, "Oh, Barney Running Bear," and it's like, "Whoa, shit! I just didn't know that ever was addressed anywhere." Huh.
Well, I know the Running Bear thing eventually comes up,
but was it ever in the pages, or is this letter the first application of it?
Well, it will be eventually, because his, I believe, currently Freak Force is hanging out on his reservation.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean, currently, but I mean, this is 1994.
Oh, you mean like?
I'm just saying, in 1994, was that anywhere other than the answer to this letter? I don't think it was.
No, I don't think so.
So it's just kind of funny because, like, I remember reading the modern issue where they're on the reservation, and I'm like, Running Bear? Like, what the hell? Like, Barbaric's a Native American? And then all the way back here in 1994, here's a letter response where he's like, yeah, Barney Running Bear. And I'm like, what the fuck? Really? Okay. So it's just that stood out to me. I'm like, all right, cool. And that's it. That's the things from the letter. You just got another Gru ad, and then we're ready to roll to the next thing.
Yeah, we saw the Gru ad in a previous episode.
Listen, Augie, if you're mad at us, to me, 10 completely pivots.
So
and goes in a good
10.
direction. I loved it.
This is a classic. Like, I never read Freak Force, but I knew about this issue.
I did not know about this except for you guys.
So, one thing to notice on this is that Keith Giffen took a break from this issue. So this is all Eric on writing.
Well, it's more than that, too, because Eric does the cover on this.
Yeah. Yep.
Plus, it's more than that. Carl Kessel does the inks over Vic.
Yep. Carl Kessel. Mm-hmm.
Of Superman.
I was going to also say that you can see that Vic actually drew the original cover, which is the pinup in this issue.
Well, that was my question, which was...
Or maybe it's not the original cover.
Well, I don't know which came first. It is interesting, though, to have two artists' interpretation of the same scene. So, regardless of which came first, I think it's very cool.
Yeah, I like this kind of stuff.
I'll tell you, it's nice seeing, like, Carl Kessel's inks on Larson on the cover. It just looks a little different.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think here. Kessel, at this point, is most well known for his work on Superman as inker and writer. I'm not sure if he's a writer yet at this time period, but he will eventually work on the first Savage Dragon Superman one shot, I believe. Mm-hmm. I think he's the artist on that, or is he the writer?
No, he's
just the writer.
John Bogdavine.
All right, so he's definitely the writer, though. His inking's interesting. I dig it. It's definitely different. Like you don't think there aren't too many inkers that you think of when you think of Eric Larson's artwork. There's it's mostly Eric who inks himself, of course. Al
I
Gordon,
think Terry Austin and his Spider-Man,
I think
early Marvel Spider-Man.
okay, I think of Al Gordon because I know Al Gordon inked a few things of Eric's, and Al Gordon has very distinct inks that I can spot from like 50 yards.
Yeah.
Kessel's different in a good way.
I like it a lot.
Look at that Mighty Man face. It looks great.
Well, that's the thing. Well, the Mighty Man face looks good, but there's something really interesting about the Rapture face.
Yeah, very anime.
Yeah.
I like it. Also, look at the hair on Barbaric's forearms. That's like not a thing I think Eric would do.
No?
I mean, he'd do the hair, obviously, but I mean, look, the way it's inked is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in black silhouette.
Yeah. And it's long and stringy. One last thing, the color hold on Rapture's fists, where they're like, the line work is white. I like that. That looks pretty
I like
cool.
it for lightning powers.
Yeah. I don't like a lot of color holds, but it works there. It's just a good cover. This is just a solid cover. And a complete 360. You instantly, the minute you flip...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pre-laughing. Continue.
Okay. It's just a complete 360. Like when you flip open the issue and you see this like second like splash page here, just how damn much better it looks. Like with Carl inking over Vic.
Yes, I agree. I
Vic
thought you were going
needs
to
a stronger inker.
I thought you were going to comment about these outfits.
Oh yeah, goddamn.
Image activewear.
Everyone in Freak Force shops at the Image store.
I hate that. Why does he do that?
There was a letter that talked about that in the last issue. About the Image Eye being all on it. It's like,
Yeah.
There's someone from Star Trek. There's a red shirt in the crowd. Just thought I'd point it out. It's got the little Star Trek emblem.
Yeah.
No, instantly better.
I
Instantly
gotta
better.
tell you, I cannot handle Vic's Savage Dragon.
Yeah, it's
He's not bulky enough. His fin's wrong.
I can never.
He's bulkier than Vanguard at least, but not by much.
I hate my biggest pet peeve with Dragon and like guest artists or other artists than Eric is when they put him in clothes that he never ever ever wears in the regular series. Like that's the worst thing ever. Like they'll put him in like oversized like hip hop jeans or like have him wear like Timberlands or something. Right. It makes me cringe. I hate it. I can't handle it. Put him in Chuck Taylors or boots.
Creased slacks.
Yeah.
That's Dragon's super suit.
Blue
Not
jeans.
spandex, not
with
baggy pants,
the
not
baseball
overalls. Yeah.
These guys are ultra generic. The ones he's beating up with just like their bodies could virtually be the same. They just have different hairstyles.
Yeah, they aren't even super freaks. They're just dudes.
They're just normal guys.
Hey man, dudes need money too.
Especially this 80s hair guy who
80s outfit guy too.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
He
definitely a
tucks
They
in his
Live
shirt.
vibe. He's a sports fan. He likes the Suns. We just need a little walking cash. Had to rob that bank. Let me ask you guys. Is our boy Joey wearing a Charlie Brown shirt?
He sure is.
All right, just curious.
He
Curious if that's
he can't
what that was.
he can't oh, good grief.
Perfect.
Yeah, Joey's a lot. Getting slapped by the teacher is pretty extreme.
Your breathing air I could be breathing is genuinely hilarious, guys. That is funny as shit.
You
cannot catch a break all day.
It's really absurdly extreme, which makes him kind of hard to relate to, I'll be honest. And I was a bullied kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's being bullied and there's whatever's going on with Joey.
Well, I think it's a lot of that like decompression where it's got to be a little over the top to show you that he's just got a all around real shitty life.
Yeah. It's got to drive home the fact that his life is a punchline. No, I loved it, though. I loved that his fucking shitty life was so exaggerated. And his dad with the stogie and the wife beater.
Yeah, the typical, like, stereotypical, like, alcoholic, shitty single dad or something who blames the kid because the mother died giving birth to him or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly Joey's had a bad day, and he takes it out on Joey. Yeah.
So, Joey Finkleberry is a character that, of course, I was familiar with because he was talked about on the Savage Dragon forums a lot. He's one of those characters that people always want to see more of because he's so interesting. Mm-hmm. Because it's pretty much implied that Joey is the strongest character in Savage Dragon.
Right.
He is the strongest and the toughest. But he's only shown up like 4 or 5 times. And usually just for very small cameos.
But he always takes out, like, major players. I think he took out Bludgeon.
I think he beat up Zeke once. Or maybe it was Bludgeon I was thinking of.
And, of course, he handles Mighty Man.
Yeah, in this issue in particular. But, because not only is he super strong, he's also apparently invulnerable, because he gets slapped around and doesn't do nothing to him. That's always the thing in Savage Dragon. Not being strong doesn't make you tough most of the time.
Right. I think I like about him, too, is, like, he's kind of like Dragon, where he's not into, like, being, like, a supervillain. He's just a kid that looks like Harry Potter. That's just the strongest supervillain, basically.
Well, based on the era, I kind of think he's got a Peter Parker thing going on. He's like, what if Parker luck was really bad, and then he woke up stronger than Superman?
Well, we see the answer.
No power, no responsibility here.
Yeah, he fucks shit up.
I had to check.
Dad.
I had to check the dates on this. This came out in '94, and Columbine happened in '99. I don't know if you could get away with this now.
I think you could. Bullying is a universal thing.
Yeah,
if you're
condemning it.
If you're in public school, you're gonna get bullied. I mean, Joey doesn't have a gun. These are superpowers, you know?
I mean, he tears the school down with his bare hands, and it's implied he killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're under the rubble.
Yeah. I can see their parachutes from here. Oh, no one knows that joke?
No.
How in G.I. Joe cartoons, whenever planes blow up, you see guys jumping out in parachutes?
Oh, right.
So
never die.
So in the dubbing for Dragon Ball Z, when like side characters would die, when like during the Saiyan saga, they'd have cutaways to like characters pointing, saying, "I can see their parachutes."
So you know that they didn't die.
Yeah.
Just hey.
Yeah.
It's funny how in old cartoons you couldn't even say kill.
Right. You got to go to a different dimension.
The home for infinite losers, dude.
I don't know what that is.
That's okay.
It's an edit. Oh boy, can it be explained easy? I'm going to try.
Well,
okay.
Do you know how hell is spelled?
HELL.
So you change one of the letters.
So all the editors did is they just blocked out the bottom of the E in hell, and then they said he's going to the home for infinite losers.
Heffel.
What show is that on?
Dragon
Ball.
Oh.
It's an edit because one of the demons when they go to the other realm, one of the demons has the word hell written on his chest.
Gotcha.
So then they edit it so it says Heffel.
And he's like, "Welcome to the home for infinite losers." I was like, "Oh, it's funny as shit." I hate
pretty
dragons.
Ingenious.
I hate dragons.
Believe me, it's iconic. Old school Dragon Ball fans love it and revel in it because edit and translations like that are funny.
Yeah, it's basically no one thinks it's good. They're just aware that that's what it took to get it on American TV.
Yeah.
I hate Dragon's image tank top. It could have just been a tank top.
Was anyone confused by that page? Like Dart shows up at the Freak Force thing, and she's like yelling, I guess, to Freak Force. But when you look at it, it's on the same page as Dragon and Rapture, so it almost looks like she's walking in the room to tell Dragon and Rapture to let's go, but she's not.
I think the coloring makes that very confusing, and the coloring could have made it very clear.
But just even the placement of that panel on that page, like, what the hell is that doing on that page? It just makes no sense.
Yeah, like, if she had been... Like, here's the thing, is, like, so on the previous page, she's like, guys. And they're like, uh-oh, it's Dart. So clearly she's, like, entering that room where they are. But then, instead of making the wall purple, as it has previously been in the other pages panels, you flip it over and the colorist has I think the colorist got confused.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I think, like, instead of just making that wall purple, which would have cleared it up, the colorist made it like she was talking to Dragon and Rapture.
Well, it's not the coloring; it's that in the previous with the workout room, it was a nondescript room, but they've chosen to put paintings on the wall and add a lamp, which suggests apartment, which is where Dragon and Rapture are.
Right, and it looks like she's going from a lighted room to a darkened room.
Yeah,
yeah,
like Dragons in there. I was just like confused. I was like, what? I had to read that like twice to understand.
No, it fucked with me too, dude. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, they see because the news, not because Dart is telling them.
I do have to say, I love this panel where they're both frowning at the TV. Yeah. That's a good reaction image.
Actually, Dragon doesn't look half bad in that panel.
Yeah.
Or the one before it, but he typically does not look good.
Yeah, that's the best Dragon Vic ever drew. Yeah, Joey slapping around Mighty Man is good shit. You know, he's just a good little villain. Like, just a kind of...
He's a gremlin.
Gremlin mode.
Man, he hits Mighty Man so hard he blows his cape off.
It happens a lot in Freak Force. So Mighty Man's just like half naked, but it never happens anywhere else.
That is true. Yeah. His costume doesn't get damaged that often in Savage Dragon.
You know what's funny? Even in Vic's pinup, like, Mighty Man's nipples are out.
Oh, yeah. Vic will draw the half-naked man all day, but ladies, he's got problems.
Yeah. I don't think he digs it. I'm just saying, like, you know.
Yeah.
Mighty Man's both nipples are out.
I gotta say, 2 issues in a row, and Barbaric just doesn't have any luck. He's getting batted across state lines both times.
Bro's a punchline at this point.
Super Patriot goes for like the 3-pronged hand thing. I don't know what that's about, but let's try that.
Yeah, just grab him. That'll work. Yeah, everyone's just kind of jumping at him and getting knocked away. Honestly, this may be intended to illustrate that they're still not working as a team very well.
The funniest thing to me is, like, he just beat the shit out of, like, Super Patriot and Barbaric, and then Ricochet yells at Horridus, "Don't kill Super Patriot. Horridus, stop him." Did you just see what he did to, like, the 2 strongest heroes, and you're sending Horridus after him? As if her face wouldn't get, like, smashed in.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's just weird decision there. That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say this bit where he gets hit by lightning is pretty cool. The way it's depicted with, like, the silhouette and the energy, and then you see that he does nothing to him. I don't think there's very many characters so far where getting electrocuted did nothing, but he just tanks it.
Yeah,
and you see more of those, and you see more of that coloring with the color hold hands with Rapture's hands, which I like, which looks pretty cool.
It's good, some good shit. Yeah, even that panel of him just punching Dragon out is just, like, fucking pretty sweet, dude. I mean, like, the thing that hurts about this, right, is that you realize that with a good inker, this whole miniseries could have been completely different. Like, on a completely different level. Like, what's his fucking name? Mike? Hold on.
Mike Miller.
Mike Miller?
Mike Miller was the regular inker up until now, and I don't know if he comes back, but I know
Let's
Kessel
hope
does.
not.
I know Kessel does the next issue.
Oh, good. I'm excited.
Did anybody else notice there's cameramen in like every scene during the school fight, like in the background?
Right.
It's just, it's kind of interesting that there's cameramen just kind of everywhere.
Makes sense though, because Dragon and Rapture learn via the news that this is happening.
It's almost Where's Waldo-esque. If you go to that page where Dragon's on the ground right after he gets popped, there's one hiding behind rubble behind Joey.
Right, yeah. Just a little head. I will say that Dragon using his words to beat Joey, it's good. I like it.
I think it's a little sappy and a little easy.
It is. Yeah, it's a little corny.
But I think
But
that's
it's stuff
I
he's
think,
done.
I think that's why Eric wrote this story, is because he had this story to tell about this character. He wanted to tell a story about a kid who gets bullied and then goes crazy and then gets talked down. I don't know. I don't think we see Joey again in the regular Image universe. I'm pretty sure the next time we see him is in the Savage world, where very clearly things have gone different for him because he's pretty much a psycho killer in that universe.
I'll tell you what this works better for me than that tried to do a similar thing in Invincible when that guy showed up and he was like, "I hate you, Invincible. I hate you," and Invincible just like fucking hugged him till he quit fighting. I
don't remember that.
Yeah, fucking, it was pretty corny. I was like, this sucks. You tried, Kirkman. You tried. I appreciate the effort, but so for me, it's like it's the exact same kind of story where he's like, oh yeah, well, here's this all powerful, super fucking strong badass, and I'm just gonna like talk him down. And Dragon's a cop, so it works. But like,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, hugging a guy until he like quits fighting, lame as fuck.
So Joey shows up again in Freak Force Volume 2.
Oh,
On
okay.
issue 3, he's actually on the cover. It's like that's the one where he's like taking out Bludgeon. So that's the last time he shows up pre-Savage World, and then like you said, after that
It'll be interesting to see what he's like in that issue when we get to it.
For me, this was a first. I again, only ever heard of Joey through you guys. And so I was like, had no idea. I knew he was powerful. I just like didn't really have a good frame of reference or whatever. But yeah, I like it. As an intro to a character, it's very different than any other like Savage Dragon character. And I'm into it, man. I thought this was a great issue. I like Joey. I like the art. I liked everything. So again, total flip flop from last time.
I will say this: these last few issues with the Cyberforce and this Joey issue, I think we've gotten away somewhat from what's been going on in Freak Force, because there's no sign of Chelsea Nirvana in any of this and her plot line, and whatever's going on across the street with that rival Freak Force company, which has barely been touched on at this point. I do hope some of that comes back soon, just to get back to it. I also have to ask a really nerdy question. When does this story take place? If only
continuity-wise?
Because remember, just before we last episode of the Retro, we talked about the beginning of the Possessed storyline, and there's a panel in there where Rapture says, we've got a mission, we're going. So they leave town. And then Dragon gets possessed, smashes up the town. So this must take place after the Possessed story. But I mean, it's a nerdy thing, but it doesn't seem like it should. It feels like it should happen before that. Just thought I'd bring it up.
Feels like a one and done. One and done as a palate cleanser from the ant thing that had like the space ant thing.
Yeah.
That had like 3 issues of build up and then took like 2 issues to pay off. And so this was to me just a one-shot palate cleanser. So I'm a little less worried about where I see the point that you're making, but I'm a little less worried about like where it fits timeline wise.
At any rate, I'm glad we finally got to this issue. This is one of the big issues I've been excited to get to doing the retros. Just because otherwise we would have never gotten to it. I'm glad it's finally we finally covered it.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Like I said, this is a character that I've heard about now for 10 years and have never read, really. And so I was like, oh, man, cool. This kicks ass.
Yep.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's funny that Eric in the later columns mentions that Carl Kessel worked with John Byrne on Superboy, Adventures of Superman. And so it's like, oh my God, like teaming up an inker that worked with John Byrne with Vic Bridges. Like, yeah, obviously. Like, obviously, yes. So, hell yeah, good one. That's the letter that stood out the most to me.
According to this next issue blurb, Deadly Duo #1 comes out very soon after this issue, so we are definitely going to have to cover those.
Cool. Right. I'm excited.
Either of you read Jay Lee's Hellshock?
No.
No, I didn't. I skipped that.
Although, remember when I said that I thought that Roughneck's Face Cross was a parody of Hellshock?
I do vaguely remember you saying that.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this Hellshock ad adds fuel to my fire. Because clearly Roughneck hasn't shown up in Dragon yet.
That's true. Roughneck has not shown up in Dragon yet.
And here's Hellshock on the back of this Freak Force comic. I'm just saying, it could be parody. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if this was one of the books that was the second run Image books that got canceled. Because there was too much crap.
I don't think so. I think this came out a little after. But I could be wrong. I remember Hellshock coming out after I was starting to like get out of comics. Otherwise, I probably would have bought it.
Man, to be Jay Lee, that is like a Sandman ass looking cover.
Yeah, I have no idea what Hellshock's. I have no idea what Hellshock was about. Or what it looked like, because Jay Lee's art is, I think it changes a lot over the years.
Oh yeah, big time.
It still had a lot of that India ink, like what is it, just like the splatters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very dark. I mean, don't forget he was doing like the Youngblood, what's the name, the Chapel stuff.
Jay Lee was doing that?
Yeah.
Cool.
You never saw those?
Nah, man. At this point,
he gives Chapel like a real skeleton-looking face, like almost like just outrageously like demonic looking.
So you're gonna laugh. I narratively know what happened there. Spawn gives Chapel that face because he burns Chapel's. He's like, "Oh, I'll make your face look like a real skull," and burns and gives him the fucking real like skull face. And so I guess Jay Lee was just drawing that. I can
look up Youngblood Strike File, and that was all Jay Lee issues, and they were pretty damn cool looking.
I can see the image now that you're talking about it. I can see Jay Lee's Chapel in my head, holding a knife, right?
Yeah, with like the face on it.
Yeah, I can see it. It's funny as hell, dude. You guys have any other thoughts on this?
Nope. I think we've basically covered it.
Hey, look, man, I just want to apologize to Augie. I know we were hard on 9, but, like, yo, I'm back on track with
I like
10.
how you're apologizing to the fan and not, like, the creator we dumped on.
Vic don't care. Vic's gone. Vic's out of this comic game, dude. He put it in the rear view. He's moving on. It's real. Here's the thing. It's real easy for people to think that comics is like some big achievement and that it's like the pinnacle of your life or your career or whatever. But there are a shocking amount of people that have come into comics, done good things, and then just been like, all right, never again. And that's the end. You know? The guy that did Scud the Disposable Assassin apparently went on to just be involved with a ton of TV and shit.
Oh, yeah. Like. Not Straub. That's someone else. Whatever his last name is. Yeah, he does a ton of TV stuff now.
Ton of TV stuff. And what's so funny is that it's like, just put comics in the review. Just came in, did Scud, got out, you know. And so it's like whatever Vic's doing, you know, if he's bagging groceries at Kroger or if he's like a dentist, I heard, or something like that. Hey, man, comics are his past. He doesn't give a shit. We're talking about the past. For all I know, he's kept drawing privately, and he's like better than Byrne. He's like the perfect Byrne right now. But who knows? Because he's not.
He just does Bible comics.
The kid who played Charlie in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory became a dentist back where I used to live.
Did he?
Yeah, apparently that was something people talked about where I used to live.
That's too on the nose. That's so weird. Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory became a dentist in your hometown.
Yeah.
That's weird, dude. How have I known you for 10 years and you only just now told that story?
I mean, it never came up before. we haven't talked about famous people bagging groceries yet.
Yeah, I don't know where Vic is, but yeah, listen, Vic, if you're listening, it's not personal. I think that you are a very talented. You in '94 were a very talented young man who didn't get the support you needed. Because clearly, when you throw Carl over Vic, it's magic. I loved 10. I thought it was great. So, and apparently Keith Giffen was the bad flavor because Eric, left to his own devices, delivered a super kick-ass solo issue. So,
yeah, I don't know why Giffen's dropping the ball in this series. I have a high opinion of Mr. Giffen. This is definitely one of the weaker series that I've read he was involved in. So,
I have a medium opinion of Giffen. I've read a few bad things he did, but like I love his Lobo. Every Lobo thing I've ever read of his was just fantastic. So I don't know. And this Freak Force, sometimes it kills and sometimes it sucks, and it's 50-50 for me still. Craig, we haven't heard from you in a hot minute. Where are you at?
I mean, I don't know. The Joey issue wasn't as great as I remembered it, but it was still good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's one of those characters you just get built up in your head over the years, and then you go back and read it, and you're like, oh, it's okay. I mean, it was a fun story. I was glad it's like a one and done. I think it's lost a little over time, but probably back then it was a little more shocking to like have this one young kid kind of beating everybody up that just looks like a kid. I am looking forward to the next couple of issues, where I think the Cosmic Cops are coming soon, which play a big role in the book, in the regular Savage Dragon book later on. So I think, we hit a little low with the Ant issues, which were pretty bad, but I think we're coming back up on the upswing.
I'll agree. I think the Ant was just like took it down, but like this Joey shit was fire. I give it a 9 out of 10. It could have been a little better, but pretty much everything you'd want out of a one shot. So with that, I think we can stick a fork in it. We're done.
Sounds good.
Thank you for listening, dear listeners. Thank you, Craig and Jim, as always, for these fantastic discussions on Savage Dragon, Freak Force, all things Eric Larson, in the past, the retro. And dear listeners, if you want to chime in, whatever, give us a little kudos, your thoughts. We're listening. We're here for you. Vic, if you're out there, Augie, we love to hear from you. This is savagefincast@gmail.com, baby. We're out.